Final ending to our time together. Part 1 down below. Let's jump in. Friday was pretty timid and lame. Saturday, we stayed up, watched a movie. I had suggested camping in the living room, but she semi-missed the point though, said we will do it this weekend. Mother's Day, she went out on a trip in the morning, came home and seemed to enjoy the presents and cards from everyone. Cooked her dinner, nothing too special, just something she hasn't had for a while. Watched Stone the Night stupid movie. Monday was a mixed bag in and of itself. She asked me why it seemed like as soon as we got in the house, I always seemed to switch modes. Did my best to explain without being accusing. Later, after doing dishes, I left a spot of water on the floor. She chided me with a honey. I didn't react to much, even though it was said in a joking manner. Then she said, "Honey, did you hear what I said?" Started to say yes. I smiled, then realized the second time she emphasized the honey, and she just called me honey twice. Today is supposed to be counseling day. Pretty nervous, as she is supposed to be answering a pretty big question for me today. That being, if you need space and time for yourself, why you need a divorce. She told me yesterday not to worry about it and not dwell on it. That reassures me, but only up to a point. If during her unhappy periods she would have been there for the kids instead of shunning them as well, my feelings would be a lot different. That's why I closed about bearing the cross for them. If I was back stateside, had no kids, this would all be a lot easier and I would be a lot colder about things. She has been better with the children since I tore into her about it, and since then she has asked for further clarification. I think she is really realizing how much pain she caused the family over the years. I come from a broken home. I don't want that for my children, if it has to happen. I am going to have very firm boundaries, whether she likes it or not. Apparently her parents have the same boundaries, which has her worried that I will have a lot of support in enforcing those boundaries. For example, I have already told her when she gets back to the States 18 months later, there is not going to be another man with my children when they spend time with her. It is not fair to them to not have seen their mother for 18 months and have to adjust to not only her but mommy's new boyfriend. Obviously that is a worst case scenario. I told her last week that if she goes to stay the night at a friend's house every night, she will not be in the house every day. It's too damaging to the kids. It's not to keep her from them or anything on that, like it's just too damn confusing when they want mommy and daddy to stay together. I have been through a lot of what you're describing. In fact, my entire side of the family has, and I have faith that my children will grow up and know the truth about me no matter how things turn out. I know her parents will support me in decisions I make, especially my father-in-law. Like I was saying, it's just hard to bear that cross, and I needed to express it and get it out, let out the frustration. I am not a savior or a martyr, so when I am burdened with a cross for other people, I feel it and I do cry out. I know I will be fine either way given time, of course, but I also know what I want for myself and my children, and yes, in a way even for her. I knew the woman I married, warts, and accept her warts and all. It's just hard that the warts I knew of and accepted her for are now turning against me, but been appealing to that other side of her lately with some success. Couldn't sleep last night, so I decided to write. I have been being a better man, not just for you but for myself. I am doing my best to open and share my feelings with you in a non-hurtful way. I have some I need to share, but I do not know how. I realize you are unhappy, I truly do, but the things you have said and done in the past half year or so do not add up. One day you say you haven't loved me for 3 years. The next it was that last fight. You say you only talked to him because he was depressed, but you never cared that talking to him made me depressed. Time and time again in the past few years you have put other men's feelings before mine. You say I never listened to you, and in some regards, you are right. But you also never gave me second chances to prove the times I did. How can I show you change if you won't give me the chance? How can you love me when you put everyone else first? I do not want a divorce. I know there are things you have to do. I accept and respect that. But there are also things I have to do. We made promises to each other 9 years ago. I have given you everything you said you needed and tried for more. You quite simply have not. If you refuse to honor your promises to me and continue to force me out of your life, I will walk out of your life. I will never badmouth you to our children, but yes, some of those choices do involve the children. If you force me out of your life, I do not know if I will ever be able to consider you a friend. You see, I gave you my heart. I have always loved and supported you. But if you leave me because love is hard and takes work, because you were unwilling to be my partner in all things like you promised, because marrying me meant you had kids too early that ruined your life, I won't be able to forgive you. I can forgive the emotional abuse suffered the past 3 years. I am coming to realize that what she has put me through is emotional abuse, whether she meant to or not. I can forgive you divorcing me if we give it an honest go and it doesn't work out. I cannot forgive you, though, if you spent the past 3 years turning me into a neurotic mess just so you can justify leaving me. I can't forgive you if you actually allow the feelings for a man you should have never gotten involved with be the reason you divorced me, shattered my dreams, and took away part of my children's childhood. The ball is truly in your court now. Are you going to step up to the challenge of being the wife and mother that you can be, or are you going to continue to try to be the person you could have been? Are you going to be the example and hero to your children that teaches them to try to live up to their word and value others' feelings, or the woman who emotionally messed up their father possibly for life? The last paragraph I am really worried about. It seems rather judgmental to me, but at the same time it is how I feel. My children have already commented on what mommy is doing to daddy. No, I haven't said anything bad about her to them. I smile, make sure they know it's not their fault, tell them some things they have to ask their mother about, and do my best to detach my pain when answering their question. But yes, I do think my children will end up not respecting her for doing what she did. Well, if they grow up to be happy, healthy adults, and I plan on making sure they do grow up to be that, and with the help of my in-laws I will accomplish it. So, thoughts, opinions, should I keep that letter as a venting exercise or should I share it with her? Change it, share it with her. That last particular letter was not given to her, nor will it ever be given to her. Was me up late venting and wasn't sure what to do with it afterwards. So, I posted it here looking for advice. I have wanted to tell her the consequences in a non-feeling way for a while now. The emotional disconnect thing is hard for me, though I have done a much better job of not being happy. Unhappy solely because of her. If she is in a receptive mood, then I treat her warmly. If she is acting stupid, then I just ignore her. She doesn't like it when I turn off, and it really is only turning off to her when the kids come in the room and start engaging. I engage with them. It's more me, no longer me trying to force her to be happy. She wants to be in a grumpy mood, I allow her to be. I just show her, not tell her, the consequences of her behaviors. Unfortunately, no matter how hard I try, she is going to affect me, as it were. But I am doing my best to pretend that she can't affect me. Definitely working on getting that confidence and self-worth back. My self-esteem is pretty high, it's just my self-worth that took a nosedive. Which actually leads me to the events of yesterday, which was a very interesting day. Kid needed to go to the doctor. She works at the clinic. Dropped the daughter off with her so I wouldn't have to deal with both. When I show up, she had a coworker in there and he was trying to show pictures off of his little girl. She pretty much ignored me, no hi or anything, so instead of lingering and forcing it, I told her okay, going to kid's appointment, and walked out. After appointment was almost time for her to get off and had to wait for the script to be put in. So, sat down there with her for a bit. A series of events happened that triggered me, ending with her suddenly wanting me to get out of the office. Not saying she really suddenly wanted me out of the office, but I got triggered, so that's what I felt like. I got obviously upset and she tried to ask me what was up with me. Well, as I was triggered and she was at work, I just said don't worry about it and walked off. While waiting for the script, she got off, came out there and asked me again. I was no longer triggered, so I explained. When we got home, things went really well. Ordered a pizza as it has been raining pretty hard here. Neither of us wanted to get out of the car to buy groceries. While waiting for the pizza, she decided to take a shower. My little girl's friend was over, so looked over at the wife and said, "You are lucky." She asked me why. Told her, not in an asked or told as a question. Been waiting for the chance for you to take a shower because I was going to be in there with you. She gave back an honest, flirty smile. Later, when my girl's friend left, I went back there for whatever reason, think I had a question to ask or some such. Gave her hair a quick stroke after asking said stupid question. Had to have been a stupid one because I don't remember what it was about. Damn woman had just finished putting conditioner in her hair. She laughed at me, so I wiped it off on her breast. Got a physical reaction from her, but instead of staying I just smiled and walked out. Thought it would be good to show her I could make a playful touch without anything crazy. When the pizza got here, went back again to let her know, and she invited me in to wash her back. So, went ahead, stripped down right quick, washed her back, then got out, dried off, and served the kids dinner. So, I have to say I think yesterday was my best day so far. I didn't engage when I was in emotional places, even if she tried to engage me. I showed confidence and dominance without being controlling, and her reactions responded to them. Oh, on the ride home I brought up the idea of cohabitation. Didn't get into the details, told her there would obviously be details for us to handle, but it is something to think about. As in, not try to rush a decision and force an answer, but bring it up and make her curious about it. She was definitely intrigued by my idea. 1. I love my kids and I do not want them in a broken home. I would much rather both parents be there for them at all times, even if the parents themselves are only together as friends in the same house. 2. I would only go through with it if there were firm ground rules in place, which I can lay out some major ones. If either parent wants out, they are the one who goes. If either parent wants to date, they are the one who goes. The finances are completely separate, with both parents splitting bills in half. Otherwise, your money is your money, my money is my money, and I have no say whatsoever in what you spend your money on as long as your bills are paid. Groceries count as bills, but special food items come from your pocket. C. All decisions regarding the children are to make jointly, as is all discipline. D. Chores will be split unless it is a personal chore, like your personal laundry. 3. Another reason why I like this idea is it gives me what I need to part ways as friends. Days later. MC was yesterday. First, let me say we both had a laugh at the MC yesterday after the event. I think it was a tactic, but she kept on saying stuff like she didn't understand and wife, and we just kept looking at each other seeing if we actually understood each other because the counselor was obviously not getting it. Wife says some of this has changed, but this is why she felt divorce. My replies will be after that. He's way too jealous, overprotective, bossy, has to be told to do something that I've told him to do several times. Controlling with the money and me. He gets upset if I spend money without his permission first or questions me about something I've spent money on, though he does the same thing but never explains what he is buying and why. Tells me who I can and can't go out with. Says it's for my protection because I am too naive to take care of myself. When I do go out, I have to ask permission from him to hang out with my friends so as to not cause problems. I have to introduce him to all of my friends before I can go out with them, even if I'm only going out for a few hours. My response to item 1. I am not a jealous person naturally. This has been a result of always feeling like someone else was more important to you. Overprotective I own I am, and is something I am working on. Bossy I never mean to come off as bossy, but I have told her several times I know I get a bossy superior tone. Call me out when I do it so I can stop. I honestly don't realize when I get that tone and can't stop it if I don't know it. Being told several times is utter crap because she never actually directly says something. She put me in charge of the finances. In order to run finances, I have to know what money is being spent on. She didn't want to handle finances, and anytime I have quit controlling the money, she has dug us in some pretty deep holes. If she wanted to know what I spent money on, I would tell her, and the why. Mind you, most of it is still stuff for her. Yes, I have told her who she can't go out with. I am sorry, I do not want her to go out drinking with the person known to get DUI. The times I have said no to a particular friend are very few, but she is a mother and wife. Yes, I have insulated on many occasions that she is too naive to take care of herself. But well, she thinks the best of everyone and doesn't think single men that want to be her friends might have ulterior motives. Yes, I want to meet her friends. I don't want to steal them or be my friends. I just want to know they respect the fact she is a mother and wife. Quite a few don't. I feel that he doesn't listen to me or consider my feelings at times because I have to repeat myself or have the same argument and try to explain in a different way the exact same thing I said the day before. I feel much the same way, if not more so. The reason why we have the same arguments is because she never handles the conflict. Tries to guilt trip me into things I don't want to do by saying that I am hurting someone I love. Usually the kids, plaguing on the fact that I avoid conflict. I have never tried to guilt trip her. It is a fact she avoids conflict. She has admitted it herself many times. It is also a fact until recently she was hurting the kids and me. If she feels guilt over that, it is her own fault. Last line was not said to her. He's nosy, looks through my things whether he feels justified or not. I have only done this recently, yes, on a couple of occasions, but I would have never known otherwise. I was not being nosy, it was the fact I knew I was being lied to and she was being secretive. Before said recent incident, she was an open book and never cared if I went into her things, oftentimes asking me to email accounts and such. She does not understand the difference between secrecy and privacy. Not said yesterday, but has been said before. I felt like I have to be a different person at home. Afraid to be myself up until recently. Even then I change into a different person when I step outside work or when I get on the phone. Need to hide my feelings as to not give off any impression not intended. It's reflex now. I have friends who commented on it, and that's the only reason I know I do this. This has been my biggest complaint with her for years during her unhappy times. I have constantly said, you treat me differently than you treat other friend. To which her response always was, that's because you're my husband and I love you. Part left unsaid. To say she never noticed it comes off as hollow and makes me wonder what else her friends have told her. I think combined with the first one, this is the root of the problem. She also listed some positives. 1. Good with the kids. 2. Is considerate of my need to not stay cooped up in the house and suggests going out often. 3. Values family time. 4. Encourages me to go to college even though I have felt I haven't had the time to do this. Wanted to add the weekend plans. Tonight is camping night. As right now we have a no touching policy in the bed, for both of us. We are going to stay up late out in the living room watching movies, playing video games, and camp out there after the kids go to bed. Not a guarantee anything will happen, but it is out of the bedroom where something can happen, and yes, I do intend to try but not force. Said not much planned, we'll probably just spend some time together. Sunday, weather permitting, we are going to the beach, though she doesn't know it yet. I am just going to wake up, start getting the kids ready, and when she asks to say, oh sorry, forgot to tell you I am taking the kids to the beach, would you like to come? She loves the beach, so it's a surefire plan, but I don't want myself being dependent on her wanting to go. I am going to take charge and show some of that initiative she fell in love with instead of this daddy initiative. Update from my weekend. Well, the camping in the living room was a semi-bust, as were my Sunday plans. Apparently, she had a lot more plans for our living room camping than I did, as she wanted to drink some wine and get frisky. She has said next weekend as she really wanted to have fun, and with the pager, she was worried she wouldn't be able to. Pager also kept us from going to the beach as the good beaches are too far away from the base and she would have had to come back and if she got paged. So, Friday we rented a few movies. Rented one family movie and 2 date movies. So, watched one of them Friday with some flirty touches but nothing ever too much or with the intent of it leading somewhere right then and there. Played lots of video games with her over the weekend as well. Was overall a pretty amazing weekend, kind of had that feeling like we had just started dating. Like that is how she was viewing me. Definitely seems like she is asking me to just be. Not overwhelm her. And be more at ease. She has taken steps to put me more at ease as well. On a side note, Sunday night she waited till I was at my laptop to clean her Facebook. It was refreshing. She wanted me to know she did that even if it isn't clean to the point of where I want it. Facebook for me is for family and a few gaming friends. But it was a deliberate act she wanted me to see because she knows how I feel about Facebook. She talked to her mom Sunday evening as well on Facebook. No idea what was said, but this morning she was pretty chipper with me. In fact, she has been getting more and more chipper with me every day. Well, had an anger conversation yesterday when she got off work. Before it all started, I let her know I was angry, then told her the reasons why I was angry. It wasn't much, just stuff that had been nagging on my mind. We talked for about an hour, just talked, no fighting or yelling. I accepted what she said and that was that. Interesting info did come from the conversation. She still wants a divorce, but she is giving me an honest chance. From reading the forums here and looking at the ladies' clubhouse, seems like the majority of women who say that don't really want the divorce, they are just prepared for one if nothing changes. I have been committed to my changes, so I am hoping it's a non-issue. She has finally admitted to the fact that she is spending more energy on everyone else than herself in her own personal relationship, and she is sorry for it. But she also said even though she is the one who neglected in that regard, so much love has been lost that she has to rebuild it. I don't agree, but I realize I can't invalidate that feeling she has, otherwise I am forcing her. Counseling session is today. Let's hope the counselor acts smarter today than she did last session, as I think it has helped us quite a bit. If not, then today will be our last trip, which would be a shame because it feels like we are getting somewhere. If we do continue counseling, thinking about a bi-weekly thing. Well, the camping session got delayed to this weekend, but we still spent the weekend together, and I don't mean in the same house, mean spending time together. Everything has been moved to this weekend, which is fine by me as she wants to drink to loosen up. Yeah, I get I didn't meet her needs, I just don't get why the lies about not meeting her needs for 3 years then being solid on divorce. But then again, after looking at Ladies Clubhouse, her actions sound like the women who want to stay married need a change in their marriage, even if the problems were originally created by them. They need the man to instigate the change, so to say. I am fine with that. Now that I have more an idea of what I was doing wrong, I can fix it. Some of it is stuff she never directly said, but after changing me she has responded to it, and some of it is directly related to what she said, and some of it I am not going to change, and she can learn that that's part of life. We're honestly better off without her. An example, her being stuck on what she could have been instead of what she can be. I know some people might read that wrong. I am sure you're not one of them jellybeans, so let me clarify that for people that have been reading my story. We got married young. A lot of what she seems to be feeling stems from the fact she missed her 20s, that she skipped that part of her life. I cannot make her to come to grips with that. I matured early and my party days were done when I met her. She never got her party days. What she isn't seeing is that ultimately after her party days she would be right where she is now. She has a husband that cares and loves for her, and though he has on occasion been emotionally neglectful, he has never with intention tried to harm her. Her parents fully approve of me, and I definitely want to be there for my children. All in all, the women who have lived their party days know I am a catch because they have the experience to back it up. She doesn't, and still thinks what if. Granted, her being the only married woman with children in her position and age category at work doesn't help, as she has no one physically present to reinforce that concept. Instead, she has young 20-something who are just entering their party phase. I plan on doing both lists, the first to validate her feelings and at the same time express what I feel is wrong with the marriage. Maybe an item or two will be left off. The needs list is meant more as a pick-me-up. Her, because I know she is fully capable of meeting all of my needs. Last night I broke down due to my own personal demons. I tried to not let her see it, as I knew she would think I was breaking down because of just her. It was too late though. I know the nothing to resolve feeling. I give her credit, she is giving me a chance, but it feels like that chance is only coming from half her heart, so to speak. She still hasn't moved forward on any of the things she said she would move forward on. Separation paperwork. A new flyer to get rid of the cats. The paperwork to get me and the kids back to the States. And so forth. The camping night went okay. We ended up not staying out in the living room. She had reservations about her original plan, but I cranked the AC in the bedroom. I have always liked to sleep when it's cold. She is a warm sleeper. I used to keep it warm for her, which had the side benefit of her scooting closer and closer, and then realized she was snuggled against me and scooting back away. I know cruel in some ways, but why should the sleeping temperature still be conformed around comfy for her? After all, you can always put more clothes on, but you can only take so many off. It rained on Sunday, so no beach. Well, it was cloudy, and by the time we got to the beach it said, "Yup, I am going to rain today," instead of passing overhead. That's fine though, as we made some more plans based off of it. Well, that is about it. Things are still moving in a positive direction. I still am not a married man again, but I am definitely not an about to be divorced man. Still don't know which way she is going to fall, but I have reached over the divorce fence, grabbed her, and brought her back to the married side. Now if I could just convince her it's safe to put her damn feet down on the ground and let go of the fence. On a side note, we are done with the counselor. Still think we need counseling, but this counselor has really become counterproductive to both of our needs, so we have decided to break up with her. She took my needs list pretty seriously, as well as the reasons I agree with divorce list. Well, that's about it for now. Hope you all enjoy. Will post any more updates I get or when I am having a rough day, but I feel pretty good today. Was a great weekend, all things considered. The more I pretend like we are just having a spat, ignore the fact that I know she wants a divorce, the more she acts like we are just having a spat. I mean, seriously, women, do you really know what in the hell you are want, or do you all live in what happened 5 minutes ago land? 2 nights ago, I got like 0 sleep. Take her to work, take kid to school, go to dental, come back later for my partial root canal. Happens to be near the time boy needs to be picked up. She takes girl to pick up boy, then has to spend like 30 minutes with them both while I get finished. 30 minutes of having both kids, and she is done, gets snappy with me and starts taking it out on me, which I calmly and politely remind her I do this every day and don't take it out on her. That I don't mind she is frustrated, but it's not right to transfer that frustration to me. Come home, she sits on the love seat, ends up passing out. I missed my hockey game, so after doing some stuff I lift up her legs and sit on the couch. Having gotten no sleep, ends up passing out with her for a period of hockey. Then cook dinner, set up season finale of Glee for her, wrestle some, and watch some more. No ordinary family. Seriously, yes, I want to stay married, but is it really as simple as just not bringing up "you might be divorcing me"? Do all I really have to do is improve myself and pretend she didn't say the D word? It shouldn't be that easy, but her actions have been saying just that. On a side note, less than 30 days away until supposed go back to the States day. Second draft of separation paperwork is still not here. This makes it about 30 days, and we got our first draft after 3 days. She has still not set up new bank account, found a home for the cats, set up an allotment. Really done anything to get me and the kids back to the States. Considering some of it is government paperwork, there really isn't much chance in hell that I will be gone within the next month, if even the next 2 months. Well, one day at a time anyways, but recently each day has been better than the last in regard to reconciliation. Her actions when she isn't reminding herself she doesn't love me say she loves me. She has to make a conscious effort now that her outside stress has gone down to not love me, and anyone can see her do it. I do think there is a guilt-shame component in it. One of her biggest flaws, 9 in her opinion, is saying something then not sticking to it. Now it feels like she is sticking to her decision made in a flash, even though she doesn't think it is the right decision anymore. Of course, I can't point any of this out to her. It is just so damn frustrating at times. Every day though I get more and more right by myself and need her less and less, which is a good thing. I think she is getting there as well. She can do things by herself, but she doesn't have to. We shall see what the cards hold though. My plan is to show her I am still the man she loves, which cold and distant won't work for, because well, that isn't the man she loves. Neither is an insecure, needy man. So, my plan is just to be the man I should be regardless of her, which is having a very drastic effect on her. It wasn't so much the D word that hurt, it was all these problems that supposedly have been around for years that I have been begging to hear that she never told, that led to the divorce that hurt. Her plan and her actions are what don't match up. It has gone from "I can't wait to get a divorce" to "I don't know when we will get a divorce" to really just separation talk, but no action taken really for separation for a while. I think her plan right now, as I am being that better man, is mess up the paperwork so I don't leave. I can't really push her on what her plan is because I actually have been too pushy in the past. I can live with her trying to save face for now. It's much more important to fix us than worry about small slights. Obviously, all this detox still needs to be handled if we stay together, but for now, I am just concentrating on bettering myself, looking out for my kids, and yes, on saving my marriage. As for letting her have it both ways, I agree. I have told her if we were back stateside things would be going a lot differently. Us being in a foreign country, and the fact that if I do go back stateside early means certain things for my children has complicated matters out of their sake. If I was back stateside, I would have honestly just taken a vacation by myself to my home and let her deal with everything I deal with for 2 weeks, then see how she feels. She knows if she sends me back without recommitting to the marriage, there is a strong possibility that when she gets back some other woman will have been filling in the mom role for X months, because I am not going to wait around. And just for the record, I am only giving her love and affection when she is being positive towards me. When she is negative, which has been very lately since starting this method. I put her on ignore after telling her why she is being put on ignore. So, her verbal plan compared to her actions don't match up. Her plan is I want to be single, her actions, including changing the habits I have issues with and working on fulfilling my needs, say she wants to be married to me. Every day is a new day, though shall keep fighting it one day at a time and continue to be the man I ought to be. Legal finally called with the separation paperwork. Damn it all, but she is saying it is just so she can do the ERD paperwork now. She is starting to realize she is going to be missing out on the kid's life. Daughter turns 5 and boy turns 7 soon, and she just realized she won't be there for their B-days. Those are going to be some very hard days for me as I cope with the kids wondering why mommy isn't at their B-day party. As always, shall see what the next day brings and the day after that. Keeping my head up and trying to stay realistically optimistic, as in I am trying to see the good in everything without reading too much into any one thing. Limo lasts till late June, early July if the paperwork goes fast. That is just for me going back to the States. Divorce, if it goes that route, is 18 months out due to legal complications, and that is in the least. I am not so much thinking that way. I don't have this grand plan to go out and hit the market right away if worse came to worse. More of a just I won't wait and be your plan B, though when having it reflected back at me in the way I worded it, I can see it was not a prime choice of words. She has been honest with me on where she is at, or at least I believe honest. But I don't want to leave here, go back stateside and still be in limbo land. If I leave here and she is still undecided, I don't want her to have the expectation that I am going to just raise our kids and hope mommy decides to come home. I can handle waiting for the aha moment in the same house, but an ocean away for 18 months, nope, not going to happen. 18 months is the short projection, and even then, she may still not be living near the kids. If she finishes up her career, our oldest will be almost done with high school by the time she can come back to home state for good. Right now we are slowly just handling issues, trying to tackle them one at a time. It feels we are making progress, and I have seen signs that the emotional affair fog is finally starting to lift. The emotional affair has been over for a while, but it's taking her a while to stumble clear from the haze. So, confused, yes, I am, but I am confused by her words versus her actions, because she seems very confused, and overwhelming her or telling her how I think she feels or how it appears to me that she feels, or however to word that really isn't going to help the matter. Tomorrow we were going to talk some, probably set an egg timer for an hour or two and deal with heavy stuff. Especially as she finally talked about how she is going to be missing time with the kids, so she opened the door for that angle. As for filed paperwork, it's all a pretty straightforward separation agreement. I get custody of kids, cannot move them out of home state without her permission. Maternal grandparents get reasonable visitation. Spousal support for myself, along with child support for our 2 children. Not really an angle to attack from there, and D paperwork unless I file is a long way off, and yeah, right now I am not of the mind to file. As for filling the mommy role, have no interest whatsoever of finding a new mommy for my children. I know it can't be avoided as a couple moves on separately, but I want my children to only know one mommy. I guess more than anything I am frustrated now. Not angry anymore. Still have my moments. Not depressed. Still have those moments as well. Just wishing a real reconciliation wasn't so damn hard because one party is being so damn stubborn. I have been to the best of my ability whilst dealing with the ramifications for my children. Like I said, if I was back in the States, this would all be a lot easier. Being where I am geographically and what this will mean for my kids, I am trying to ensure them as much mom time as possible while me and her deal with us. Things day by day are getting better, but again, due to where I am at geographically, I have a limited timetable. I can't really just do the whole no contact, well, limited contact because of the kids for 6 months or however long is needed. If I force her out of the living area now, then that is just an extra couple months the kids won't have their mother, and I refuse to punish my kids or use them as an emotional weapon. They are innocent in this all and deserve as much mom time now as possible before possibly not getting any good mom time till they are graduating high school. So, have been doing talks in bites. She knows unless she is 100% committed, I will be walking away when I go back to the States, and she is giving us a chance right now. The chance through action seems genuine, but quite honestly, I am lacking in trust of her right now. I have to start trusting her though if there is going to be any chance of reconciliation. Not saying I am putting all my eggs in that basket yet, but each day she is moving closer to home, so there is hope. I do status update conversations every once in a while, just to see where we are at. We have re-entered her vocabulary recently, and like I said, though she says she still wants a divorce, a lot of her actions of late have said what she really wants is different than what she is verbally expressing. I just wish she would confide in someone like her parents. You know, someone who might tell her the hard truth if they knew everything instead of someone who isn't. 1 month later, what can I say when things start going good in context? You don't need daily treatment anymore. Still not divorced, still not married, still somewhere in limbo, and still overseas, definitely looking mid to late July now at the earliest. No complaints though. So how are things going? Better, you might ask. Well, she has officially gone from wanting a divorce to I don't know what I want. I know may not seem like much, but her actions have been entirely what can I do to repair our relationship. In the bedroom, still no passionate lovemaking, not there yet, but at nighttime she started with foot snuggles. You know, moving her leg over to where it is touching mine, to the past 2 nights in the middle of the night when I roll away from her. Not intentionally, but if I can't cuddle, which is of the moment we are not cuddling in bed, it is a safe zone, I toss and turn and no pillows don't help, it's not the same thing. She has rolled to face my back and put her hand in the center of my back, rubbing it. Last night I decided to see how aware it was and moved away slightly and moved slightly away after she did it. Sure enough, she readjusted to where she could touch me again and resumed rubbing. Rubbing is probably the wrong word, it is just one of those slow thumb movements. In normal life she is being very considerate to the needs of the family while still taking care of her needs. It's been months since she tried a no-win situation. Now she either says she is going to do something, or if it is something she is open to compromise with, she will honestly ask. For example, tomorrow her friend just got back from vacation and she told me she was inviting her over. Nor is it okay if she comes over, which I guess brings me to the really good news. She is starting to trust me again and be open with me. She is definitely trusting me in my ability to get over little things. As an above example, I am not really happy her friend will be coming over tomorrow, but really, it's not that big of a deal and I will get over it. So, it's a good thing it has allowed us to move really far from where we were. Like I said, still not all the way there, but I admitted way back in the beginning I didn't want the quick, easy fix, and I'm willing to take the long, slow, painful road. Have about 1.5 years, over 3 years worth of issues to deal with. A few months isn't going to magically erase it all. I have begun writing her every workday. Yes, they contain my feelings, but the only emotions I ever show in them are positive ones. Only had one start to get angry and stopped it, but still gave it to her. They are helping a lot to keep me from over-talking her and managing my levels so I don't get to angry, bitter, whatever. She reads them every morning and has made a few comments upon them. She says I am being realistically hopeful in them in regard to me and her. Yesterday the daughter and her sweet almost 5-year-old self started talking about how she wants mommy and daddy together like in the picture. Family picture. Wife was sitting out there and did my normal explanation of things. Wife smiled warmly at the fact I said mommy and daddy are trying to be better people, and when we finish becoming better people, we are going to reassess. Really think that is where we are at. I don't think she will openly admit it yet, but from all her actions it really seems she now wants to stay completely married, take some time for the two of us to work on ourselves while slowly rebuilding our relationship, send me to the States, come back to the States herself a year later and see where we are. Another month later, there were fireworks on the 4th. She called her parents and wants to move forward on divorce again. Apparently even her parents are confused on it. I am hurt by it all, but handling it a lot better this time, because I know I have been doing everything I can and well, duck it. I am sad this time, but it's not desperate or heart-wrenching. The fireworks were over. Facebook. God, how I hate that thing. Yes, I use it myself, but not to connect with the world, just with people that matter. I am being resolute this time, no more backpedaling like I did in the past. She isn't going to scare me with D-talk if it was just an emotional outburst to her parents and it's serious. Thank you everyone for telling me not to put too much hope or read too far into things. It allowed me to try to restore my marriage with a level head and be prepared for failure. Again, not sure it will go there, could just be an emotional temper tantrum because she is still torn. Well, hell, either way it's an emotional temper tantrum, and yes, I want to be with her, but I will not let her antics faze me, and if that is what she wants in her life I will keep moving forward. My comment: I thought this was a reconciliation story when I was working on this, but in the end, it became a divorce story. What do you guys think about this 2-part divorce story? Comment down below. Sub and bell, and maybe there's a more positive story coming soon.